Welcome back to the vBrownbag Tech Talk at vForum 2013. Standing here with Mr. Arron Stebbing, who's going to talk about the difference between enterprise and commodity hardware for cloud. Big decisions that need to be made when you're putting together a cloud environment as to what hardware you're going to use. So with Arron's extensive experience in cloud, hopefully you can give us some insight as to what the best approach is.
Yeah, thanks Chris. So guys, a bit of a background on myself. I have built a few public, private and hybrid clouds in my time. One of Australia's biggest at the moment, Stebbing. I was the original architect of that. What I want to go through today is why you would potentially choose enterprise grade hardware rather than a white box type solution like commodity hardware. Where we're seeing commodity hardware used a lot these days is in the bigger corporates, people like Google, Facebook and stuff, who really need the larger environments to scale quickly, and they don't actually need all the features and benefits. What we see a lot with cloud these days is what you're purchasing is actually very minimal. A lot of stuff you buy from a VMware stack and it gets the features of the VMware software rather than the hardware itself. So it does raise the question why you would spend the money, big capital expense money on enterprise grade hardware rather than the commodity stuff if you're not using all those features. What I want to do is actually delve into some of that and explain why you might invest that money and why you would go down that path. I would like to throw a quick question to Chris because he has had some experience in these environments. What do you see a lot in these environments with the enterprise hardware?
So with the enterprise hardware, a big thing for customers is the reliability. Big brand name hardware like the Dells and the IBMs and the HP sort of come with this, factor of reliability and service and support around it, right? So, for the enterprise hardware, they can have their 1 hour, 4 hour SLAs to on-site to fix it, which is something that you may not get in commodity hardware. And also scale and solutions that come around that hardware as well. So, if I was to take IBM services as an example, which is the ones that I've worked more recently on, is the options that you can then add on to those in terms of memory, additional CPUs and stuff, and the architecture around that. Is something that you might not find in all commodity hardware. So, you can argue it both ways, but yeah, for enterprise hardware, it's definitely the reliability, and that brand name of having, that 1 to 4 hour response time for hardware failures is something that's big for customers that I've dealt with.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, coming from a cloud perspective, in my experience of what we've done, is that reliability is certainly a big key. Being able to have that one number to call locally and be able to get the parts quickly certainly helps out. Now, if you turn that on its head and you went down the commodity path, you have to have that hardware available on the spot. There's not really big supply chains in Australia for the commodity type hardware, so it is going to take you a lot of time to actually get that installed and running. A lot of the new tools that are there that you can use, things like auto deploy and stuff, really help in deploying those commodity type hardwares. Other stuff in the enterprise area, things like UCS, where you can do service profiles and stuff on those environments, they allow you to get that time to market really, really quickly. Where that gives you the benefits of cloud is being able to scale rapidly. With cloud, you don't really know the demand. If you do, you should probably get paid a lot more. It is very hard to judge that.
Yep.
I do know that unfortunately from experience.
Yep.
Capacity planning for a public cloud is very scary. What we do see a lot of is being able to actually capture some of the features of the hardware from an enterprise system. Say, example like an EMC SAN, where we've got things like tiering in the DIS, where we can tier between SAS, SATA and SSD. A lot of the time you're not actually selling that performance tier in your SLA or your offering. So where you can now start to get benefits is being able to upsell on that. Generally what you'll sell is, say, a basic storage tier of SAS or SATA, which will have a price attached to that. But when you upsell to have a tiered offering, you now open up your market. You can actually have a shopping cart type offering with multiple storage options in based on the features of those SANs. Do you see a lot of that happening at the moment?
In the storage tiering space, absolutely. So, a lot of customers, might run dev test workload or something, and they don't need the really fast, expensive disk in order to be able to run that. They're happy with, a tier 3 cheap SATA solution in order to drive those. So yeah, absolutely, the ability to tier, auto tier, and have those enterprise features within those arrays is important. However, you look at the solutions like Nutanix and now vSAN, and more recently in 5.5 with the read cache, you know, SSDs are now starting to enter those compute nodes. So really you've got to ask yourself, do you need now this auto tiering or the ability on your arrays to be able to tier, you know, between, you know, really good disk and really cheap disk? You know, because you can potentially introduce into your environment, whether it's a public or private cloud, you know, solid state disk at a really low cost, and that could be a really, you know, good service offering to the rest of the market if you're a public cloud provider, because you can offer solid state performance, you know, at a really low cost.
Yeah, most definitely. Certainly looking down that line, when you actually look back at how we do it in a public cloud area, is where we want to do is get down to that bottom dollar figure. Right? Being able to scale and get down to a bottom dollar is actually very hard in the Australian market. We do have direct competition with people like Amazon who scale a lot bigger than almost anyone. They've got the benefits of a big bank. Right? We don't have those benefits in public cloud areas, in smaller integrators and stuff here. So what you really need to now do is actually look at the software offerings that are out there. People like VMware offering vSAN. We've got some other things coming out like the Pernix data type stuff. Really being able to capture those software options, pull them into your offering, being able to reuse those features rather than the features inside either your enterprise hardware or your commodity hardware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously using those software features with the commodity hardware allows you to bring that price right down and almost compete with Amazon. If you're actually going to start to upsell on what you've got in an enterprise hardware, the software features can actually add more value to that as well. So guys, I guess I'd like to thank you there, and certainly if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to Chris or I,
Yep, absolutely.
and we'll be more than happy to chat about it.